To try to record this on my other phone because the other one I just losing all my storage. Anyway, okay, so basically, you know, it's like it doesn't make sense to me sometimes when someone who has not actually gone through loss or the grieving process of actually losing either a mate or someone very close, and they have a hard time relating to someone like me. Most of the time, I just don't share this side of me to them because I know that they don't get it. They won't get it. They don't get it. They're not gonna get it. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, I just don't even try. But some of those same people, I have noticed, will be the same ones who have a hard time trusting. You know, they were, you know, either they got into relationships, other relationships that didn't work, or they're divorced or whatever. And they could even be a man or a woman of God, and they even have heard and understand the scripture that says, you know, you must leave your father and your mother and the two become one flesh. So if you are going to become one flesh, if you claim to know God, you're a Christian, you tell me where there is room for a fear of intimacy or a fear of trust, a fear of getting close, a fear of commitment, a fear of monogamy, okay? A fear of whatever. Fears. And it's like, then some of those same people will turn around and say to me, are you ever going to not mention your late husband's name again? Or do you think you'll ever come to a place where you won't, you know, think about him or talk about him? To me, I just don't get it. I don't get it because it's like, you clearly have no idea the work that it takes to be able to actually move on with carrying this love and be open to moving on or whatever, like being open to love and being willing to trusting myself, trusting this person with what I've gone through. And yet your person, quote unquote person, is still alive. Okay? Or your ex-person or whatever, who's still alive. Because you chose wrong, or because they were just whatever they were, that, you know, whatever you went through with that other person, she took your money, she cheated on you, whatever. But now you're looking at someone like me, and you have a fear of trust, you know, fear of trusting, fear of getting intimate, fear of being honest about your open feelings and emotions. Like, you might not even be able to say I love you, okay? Even though you do, or, you know, all these things, and you're going to ask me if I can ever, you know, move on. It's like, actually, let's turn the mirror around. Look at yourself and ask you, can you move on? Past your divorce, or your separation, or your baby mama, or your baby daddy, whatever. Whoever hurt you. Or your mama that didn't treat you right, you know, or your mama that gave you some sort of mother wound, or your daddy, or your this, or your that, or whatever, that's caused you to be so untrusting and untrustworthy, or to be mean or condescending, or to prove to the world and everybody that you are, you know, the man, or whatever platform you are standing on, or whatever hurt you're holding on to, that is keeping you from experiencing real, true, deep love. Okay? Ask yourself that. Can you get over whatever that experience was that you went through? Can you? Okay, because it doesn't seem like it's me. When I know for a fact that, yeah, I trust people. I absolutely trust people until they give me a reason not to trust them. When they give me a reason not to trust them, then I don't. And I am definitely open to expressing love, sharing love, giving love, having love. In fact, I live for it. In fact, it's a priority in my life. Why? Because I know that every day is precious. And every day I want to make, sure that I am feeling the love from whoever I'm around. Whether it actually be romantic or not. Whether it's just, just good friends and family, right? And enjoying the moment. I don't need a lot of people around me. I don't need to have, a big, huge group of friends or whatever. Like, I don't need to go out every day, have party. That's not what is, meaningful to me. Meaningful is enjoying the company you're around on purpose about the person that you choose to be with, either as a partner or a future partner, whatever, right? My experiences have taught me what I've grown is to make sure that, that person that I choose to have in my space, not only do I love that person, care about that person, attracted to that person, there's a real chemistry there, and only I can make sure of that, right? But that I get them, or I want to get them, what I hope for is that, you get each other. But also, I want to make sure that the person that I allow there in that intimate space with me, or whatever, actually is going to be able to get me and understand me. And at least, if nothing else, if he can't actually empathize, he can at least be a good listener. And he doesn't try to cap my thoughts or my experiences or me being able to share whatever, past memories and things like that I have. Okay. When you sell life insurance, as I've chose to do, you will, recount you will just have memories and things that pop up just from sharing your experience with others. That was a main fear, the reason why I didn't want to do this for so long. It was a huge reason and one of my fears for a long time when people kept trying to, convince me that I would be good at selling life insurance, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to deal with the emotions that I felt like that would bring up. And I got past that. And I also am not scared, or it doesn't make me feel any type of way, or, people who are scared of their emotions, people who are scared of being emotional, people who have no emotional intelligence, or they have a very emotionally low IQ, they run from their emotions. They're scared of their emotions. They feel like their emotions are going to engulf them and take them over, and that they're not going to ever be able to come out of them. That's a very unhealed individual, someone who has not really truly embraced the healing process. That is a person who is, in a different place in their life than me. So it's like, if you want to get to know me, or you think that you want to be with me, or, you think that, if you think that I'm potentially your mate or something like that, as I've been told, trying to get this to stop getting so blurry. But anyway, part of me and who I am is my experiences in my past. And me, yes, I was widowed. Okay. And a lot of people don't share that experience with me, but that's okay. You don't have to. It's really about your ability to empathize and listen. That's really about it. That's really it. And those who have had that have shared the most space with me, has shared the most time with me, and we've grown close, whether it be, just friends or not. But if you have an ounce of arrogance, or you have no emotional IQ, or a very low emotional IQ, or you just don't know how to not come off, as cold, mean, condescending, hurtful, or just lack of empathy, if you don't know how to not come off that way, I wouldn't be the right one for you. Because the person who tries to make me not share my experiences or not talk about any of my past experiences or whatever is not the person for me. And I'm not going to bend myself into a pretzel again, as I always say, Like, I'm not going to jump through hoops and, you know, just pretend when I'm around this person that I didn't have a husband of 17 years that passed away. And I didn't have that experience. Or that I don't have, that's not who my baby daddy is. Like, I'm not going to do that. I never have. I'm not going to. It's not, you know, what my plans are. Okay? I'm not the one with the problem. And to me, we're not a good match. We're just not a good match. Like, that is the quickest way to make me run from you, either as a person, a friend, or even as a potential partner, is for you to be, you know, to have issues with that. To not be able to, you know, empathize, or to not be able to at least be a good listener. To know where I'm around this person that I didn't have a husband of 17 years that passed away. And I didn't have that experience. Or that I don't have, that's not who my baby daddy is. Like, I'm not going to do that. I never have. I'm not going to. It's not, you know, what my plans are. Okay? I'm not the one with the problem. And to me, we're not a good match. We're just not a good match. Like, that is the quickest way to make me run from you, either as a person, a friend, or even as a potential partner, is for you to be, you know, to have issues with that. To not be able to, you know, empathize, or to not be able to at least be a good listener. To know where I'm coming from as a person, right? The way that I would want to know, and the way I do want to know with any of my future partners, okay? But for me to sit here and, like, even pretend that my late husband didn't exist, or to not mention his name, or for me to jump through the hula hoop of not mentioning his name around a certain person, especially if that person wanted me, even at all thought about me as a marriage partner. I could not even fathom living with somebody and me knowing that I have the constraints, like a muzzle over my mouth or something like that. That's jumping through hula hoops. That's, you know, that's just confines that I'm not willing to go through. I actually had somebody ask me if, you know, were there any men who were willing to listen, or something to that effect, or something like that. Like, as if that person's view and viewpoint was what all men and how all men approached me, or had been all my experiences. That's another person who can't see and fathom that there's actually another whole way of being in life. And the answer to that is, yeah. Plenty of men. Plenty of men. In fact, you know, I would say it's the minority of men who turn out to be kind of insensitive or say things like that. That's in the minority. The majority of the men that I've met, dated, or whatever were absolutely fine. In fact, they liked that I was, not that I was widowed, but they actually liked that I had the experience of a good, loving partner and being a wife, because they looked at it as that was qualities and good qualities that they knew I would be bringing into a potential relationship. And it has not really hindered the majority of men. The only men that it has hindered were those who were emotionally immature, unable to understand or put themselves in. They just didn't have enough of those experiences, really and truly. Because once you go through that, I guarantee you It will not be something that you say to yourself, I never want to talk about it. I never want to talk about it. I want to find a partner who will make sure that I never talk about it. Like, it just is, that is not the way life works. And you just don't get it, and you just won't know until you actually experience it. That's just what it is. And you only have one other choice. If you haven't experienced it, you only have two choices. Either just listen, and that's it. You just listen with an open heart and open mind, and that's all you do. You just listen, and you don't internalize anything. Or you don't listen, or you don't want to listen, or you don't have the time to listen, and you choose to, you know, it's like it's an inconvenience for you or something like that, you know. And those type of men are very, you know, I've had men that, you know, I would say, I don't know, a handful. Because it's not like I mean, these are not men that I've gotten intimate with. I'm just saying in conversation, talking to different guys that have wanted to talk to me or get to know me or try to, you know, date me or, you know, kick it with me, whatever you want to say. It's really been a handful, about a handful, that have been that way, okay? And these could even be godly men that understand that the two should be one flesh, right? They understand scriptures. They might even, you know, like they have a relationship with their father, or they seem to be spiritually minded men or whatever. But the experiences that they have gone through in life are just not enough to meet me at the level of where I'm at in this particular point, which is a very big deal for me because my life fundamentally changed from that experience. Okay, and so it's just one of those things that, you know, I'm, you know, there's something I can do about it. I'm not willing to jump through anybody else's emotional hula hoops and their emotional lack of understanding or empathy, or lack of empathy, or anybody else's constraints, or anybody else's fears of how they will look, fears of, you know, if they have a fear of a dead person, I don't know. I'm just not, no, it's just, for me, it's just a hard pass, okay? It's a hard pass. I don't care if you have $5 trillion in your bank account. I don't care if you have 12 different cars that are fancy, you know, Porsche, Maserati, you know, whatever. All the top, you know, everything, BMWs, Lexus, and any other high, you know, name or whatever. I don't care if you drive a different car every single day of the week. I don't care if you have the best jobs in the world. I don't care what type of kingdom you claim to be running. What I know is that doesn't impress me. What impresses me is your ability to empathize, to be kind, and to be understanding, you know, the ability to listen, the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, the ability to just care like that, to not be condescending or to not be mean or say things that are just, you know, mean, okay? Or to be immature. Your emotional IQ is what will impress me. You know, who you are in your heart, at your core. How deep can your emotions go? You know, can you learn through the things that you've gone through? Can you grow through all those things? You know, can you still love the person in front of you even though you've gone through XYZ? Because I understand that that's not, you know, easy. I get it. It keeps going blurry. Anyway, you know, if you have a fear of your real feelings on the inside, whatever your real feelings are, if you have fear of expressing those real feelings, if you have a problem with just saying and admitting your real feelings, like I love you, I care about you, I want to be there for you, you know, if you just can't get in touch with your real feelings for whatever reason, and that's a problem for you, and you just can't, like, that, it's also going to be a problem for you to understand why I'm able to be in touch with my real feelings and the things that I've gone through. Like, we're not on the same page emotionally and, you know, psychologically. We're not going to be on the same page. We're like in two different planes. Okay? A person that can be able to empathize and actually be able to be in touch with their feelings and be okay with them, is a person that's going to be able to do that for others. They're going to be able to open their heart space for others as well. Like, when you can do that for yourself, you can do that for others. You know how. It doesn't scare you. People who are scared of that, it just tells me that you haven't gone through a certain amount of healing that's necessary to be with this chick. So I do feel like a lot of people, it's like they want to, maybe they say they want to get to know me, or, you know, this happens on occasion. It's because I look a certain way, you know, and, you know, online, I have a very fun type of job, you know, like the makeup or whatnot or whatever. And sometimes, you know, my age is underestimated quite a bit. And, you know, it's just, people want to make assumptions about me, right? And a lot of times, going to be able to do that for others. They're going to be able to open their heart space for others as well. Like, when you can do that for yourself, you can do that for others. You know how. It doesn't scare you. People who are scared of that, it just tells me that you haven't gone through a certain amount of healing that's necessary to be with this chick. So I do feel like a lot of people, it's like they want to, maybe they say they want to get to know me, or, you know, this happens on occasion. It's because I look a certain way, you know, and, you know, online, I have a very fun type of job, you know, like the makeup or whatnot or whatever. And sometimes, you know, my age is underestimated quite a bit. And, you know, it's just, people want to make assumptions about me, right? And a lot of times, after they get to know me, they realize, like, I'm not anything like what they thought. You know how many times I've heard that? I've heard that I've actually heard that my entire life. So I don't know, you know, what people think or whatever. But what I do know is, you know, I love life. I love God. I love, you know, every day that I am here. I've now come to the place where, past all of that, where I can, I've grown from the things that I've gone through, and I can seek joy and happiness. And when people talk about live in the moment, you know, like people say it all the time, like living in the moment and knowing how to be present in the moment. Like, it takes a journey, and it's a process to actually be that way. And that's how I am. That's actually how I am. Not saying I throw caution to the wind or anything, but when I'm in the moment of love or of joy or whatever it is that I'm feeling, I express those things. You know, I relish those things. I enjoy that. I look forward to that. I look forward to new experiences. I'm creating new memories and things like that with different people. Because I know that what I'm doing in that moment with that person or people or whatever, I am creating a new tapestry or like a new wallpaper, right, to my life, to the memory of my life. That, you know, let's say like during, you know, 2023, you know, I was, you know, living in this particular house or whatever, doing this particular job, and I was, you know, here, there, whatever, making memories in that year, doing this, that, and the other, whatever it was, with whoever, you know, on Stone Mountain, over here or over there, you know, like at the water, whatever. Like that was the wallpaper to that year. Like that was part of the memory, right? And I'm aware of that at all times. Because I also know that when it's done, it's done. It's over, it's over. With me or the other person. One thing I like about what that lady said in that video that I shared out, she talks about is nobody is going to get through this life and not have to deal with death. Nobody. You are not going to be able to escape death. And the longer you escape death, the more opportunity you'll have that you'll be losing people. When I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, she was talking about her grandmother that recently passed, and her grandmother was like 90 something, 90, I forgot. She was up in age. But the sad part about when you do get to be blessed to live that long is a lot of your friends and people around you will start to pass away. And you will start to feel that sadness. You will have a feeling alone, or like, you know, you will have to deal with that sadness of losing people, right? People who used to be a part of the tapestry of your life. And it's sad if you get the opportunity to outlive many of your friends, right? That is one heavy part to the blessing of living a long life. But nobody is going to escape death on this side of Armageddon, or whatever you believe in this world, whatever. Right now, where we're at, none of us can escape sin and death, right? We know this. Some of us just had to deal with it sooner. I suggest that, you know, if you have somebody that has lost somebody very close to them, or if you have ever considered dating a widow or someone who was widowed before, or if you just want to connect on a deep level with someone who has, you know, experienced the death of a loved one, and, you know, that was a pivotal point in their life or whatnot, then you might want to research how to be of a support to that person, because there's a lot of research. There are a lot of different things. The number one thing is to just listen without saying anything. That's the number one thing. Listening without saying anything. And after you research and you see, you know, how ways that you can support a person like that, if that's truly what you want to do, when you get the ideas and the list of things of whatever, and all these different, you know, things that, what to say, what not to say, or what don't say, you know, basically, you know, you have the choice of, like, do you want to deal with that, right? You know, even before I was widowed, I used to always say, and I still say to this very day, I am not for everybody, and everybody is not for me. And I am happy about that. I don't have a desire to be every man's cup of tea. Nor do I even desire or want to, you know, jump through anybody's hula hoops, constraints. I don't want to be bent into a pretzel, pushed or forced into some sort of way of thinking that doesn't agree with me. And it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened up to this point, and it's not going to happen, because I am truly the kind of person that actually enjoys my peace. I enjoy peace. And in relationships specifically, if I can't find peace with that person that I'm seeking to be in a relationship with, I leave. I take myself out. That's just the way I roll. Peace is very important to me. It always has been, but it's even more important to me now on this side of being widowed, okay? And I'm working very hard at finding peace. That's just the way that I roll. So, you know, I would say, you know, at some point, you'll have to deal with death at some point. It is good to learn how to deal with somebody who's gone through anything serious. If you think you're going to be some kind of leader, or if you're trying to be a leader of any kind, then, you know, it would be appropriate to learn more. If you haven't gone through the experience, then it would be appropriate to learn more about how people feel. And one of the number one things when somebody has lost somebody important,